where I thought at the end of the year I would have some time to slow down, to disconnect, reflect, prepare for next year, I noticed that life had something different in store for me. And this started with my grandfather passing away right before Christmas. And we were also with him when he took his last breath. This shook some things up in the family during that period. But this was also just the beginning. Because after Christmas and between Christmas and New Year's Eve, I had a conversation with someone that completely shifted my direction and trajectory of 2026. And this also brought up the whole topic for me of how do you stay resilient when life is testing you? So I had a conversation with my business partner, and we were about to prepare and record podcast episodes. And that conversation went into a completely different direction because he shared with me that in his heart, he felt that he needed to step away from everything, which included our partnership. So what was supposed to be us recording podcast episodes turned into a 3-hour-long conversation where the emotions were heightened about his decision of stepping away. And we already had scheduled a Bali intensive for men in 2026. Men had already signed up for this. They already paid money. We already made promises. We were about to run multiple groups in 2026. We had scheduled 2 speaking events. And all of this was gone in that conversation. So how do you stay resilient when life is testing you? How do you deal with these unexpected changes? And that's something that I was reflecting on when all of this was happening in the moment, of course, but also afterwards. And one of the things that I always hold close to me when it comes to resilience is observe your emotions, don't react to them. Because I believe whenever the emotions are heightened in situations like that and you react to your emotions, you destroy friendships, partnerships, relationships. You destroy opportunities. This is one of the worst things that you can do, is to react to the emotions in the moment, even though it feels so real and honest to react to them. So in that moment when we were having that conversation, I could see all the projects just fading away. And I felt everything. I felt loss, I felt sadness, but I also felt anger and frustration. If we, for example, just look at the Bali immersion that we had scheduled, like I was thinking about the uncomfortable conversations I needed to have with all the men that already signed up. We made promises. Men have negotiated things at work. They were already booking their flights. And now I have to have a conversation with them that is not going to happen. How will they respond? How will they view me? What will be a result of this conversation? And all of these things were going through my mind in that moment. And this was just the Bali intensive. Like, of course, there was so much more in that moment. And just imagine if I would have reacted to all of these emotions. Like, I don't want to even think about how that conversation would have gone if I reacted to everything. And that's why in that moment, I chose to stay silent. I chose to simply observe the emotions that were present, and I made the decision to hold space for my partner because it was uncomfortable for both of us. It wasn't fun to be having that conversation. So in that moment, I decided to hold space and to deal with whatever the moment was bringing up. And this also, one of the things that's very important to me is that people always act in alignment with their deepest truth. This is one of the most important things for me as a coach, of course, but also as a human being, that people act in alignment with their deepest truth. And I knew and I felt this was his deepest truth. So I'm a stand for that. And we'll deal with whatever the consequences are, which also brings me to the next point about resilience, which is I just don't resist. I believe the most resilient people are the ones that can accept reality the fastest. And you can see this very strongly in breakups, for example. When men or women, they can't get over a breakup, it's because they are not accepting their current reality. They are resisting their reality. They're holding on to an idea from the past or holding on to the possibility of them coming back into their life and they're happy together, that they come back together and build a future together. So you're holding on to ideas from the past, which makes you unable to accept reality and unable to move forward and create new things in the future. This keeps you stuck if you're not accepting your current reality. And people are not accepting their reality or they are holding onto this idea or to this person because of this attachment. They need this thing to feel something or to have something. For example, let's say the Bali immersion. I need to have this Bali immersion, otherwise I will never be successful. Just like in relationships, I need to have this person in my life, otherwise I will never be happy. Otherwise I will be forever alone. And this is the attachment. Like, she is the only one that can make me happy. So now all other possibilities are cut off and you are stuck in the present moment because you're not accepting reality as it is. So for me, this was one of the things that I wanted to get to the fastest, is accepting reality and recalibrating. Because there was a lot of recalibration that needed to happen. And so my mind was also immediately going to the future, as in, which conversations do I need to have? Immediately schedule these conversations, because I had these conversations with the men in the same week, immediately doing these things. And I was about to spend 80% of my working time on all the projects that we had scheduled. So that's why this is a lot of recalibration that needed to happen. So accept reality as fast as possible. Don't resist it. Don't attach to something. And whenever you feel an attachment, there is a story or a limiting belief in your mind that you need something to have something or to have an experience. And this attachment is a lie. Often, like, I need this person to be happy, or I need this partnership, otherwise I can never be successful. Whatever the story is, it's all a lie. So you need to figure out what that attachment is if you're unable to accept reality as it is right now. And when it comes to resilience, it's also, how do you relate to a situation? How do you relate to whatever is happening? And for me, one of the questions that immediately popped up is, what if this is not an end? Because when we were talking for 3 hours, of course, we were talking about loss and we were talking about ending things. But what if this is not an end? What if this is the beginning of something much greater, something that's way bigger? And when I asked that question, I became excited about the future. I became curious, like, what would this look like? What if this is the catalyst to something way greater, way bigger that I can't see yet? So when it's all in how are you relating to the thing, I can interpret this whole situation as whatever the depressive story is, as a loss, as an ending. But what if it's a start? What if it's a beginning? And you can also ask a different question, as in, what if your current situation is actually an opportunity? Whatever you're going through, what if this is a powerful opportunity for you? What if this is a gift, whatever you're going through? And this might be a stretch depending on the situation that you're going through, but what if it's an opportunity? What if it's a gift? And this is the power of questions. That's why I love coaching so much, because we're playing with the whole internal reality of someone. We're playing with the way that you're creating things. We're playing with the way that you're relating to things. And you can shift your reality with one question. Because if you really feel into, what if this is an opportunity? Whenever you ask a question, your mind starts looking for answers. And that's why you have to be very mindful of your thoughts, of your thinking, of the kind of questions that you ask yourself. Because your mind starts looking for answers, even though the question is not resourceful to you, even though you will go down a negative spiral. Your mind will find evidence for all your thoughts and for the questions that you ask it. So use this to your advantage by asking the most resourceful but also most powerful questions you can to redirect your mind. And this is how you recreate your relationship with reality, with whatever you're experiencing, because you don't experience the objective reality in a lot of cases. You experience who you are in that reality and the stories that you have. So this is also something that I'm mindful of, as in, whenever these strong emotions are present, it's because of a story. Similar to whenever I felt anger and frustration, this was coming from me imagining having the uncomfortable conversations with the men, which results in them not trusting me anymore, them moving away from me, whatever the case was. And I would blame my ex-partner right now, ex-business partner, for this. So that's why the anger and frustration came up. But it was all a story, because I don't know what these conversations turn into. What if these conversations I have with the men are actually opportunities? So, and this is how I can play with reality. instead of reacting to reality. Like, I want to be the one in control. So that's why don't react to your emotions, observe your emotions. Don't resist things, but adjust. And this adjusting is also with the type of questions that you ask it. So one thing when it comes to resilience that I always hold close to me is, and I'm not saying I'm perfect at this, because I notice that life gets very challenging and difficult when I lose connection to faith. And something that I want to hold as close as possible to me whenever these unexpected changes happen, whenever life is testing me, I want to hold faith close to me, as close as possible. And I want to trust that whatever is happening is meant to happen for me. It's happening for me for a reason that I might not understand yet, I might not see yet. And I want to trust, and I will trust, that it's guiding me to the place where I'm meant to be. Everything that's happening for me is guiding me to the place where I'm meant to be, even though I don't know what that place is, even though I can't see it yet and can't understand it yet. And whenever I'm connected to that truth, I experience more peace and acceptance in the moment. Because right now, there are things in my control, but there's also a lot out of my control. And that's where there's a combination of me taking ownership and changing and recalibrating, but also trusting wherever life is guiding me. Like, these two are in harmony. So it's not me just asserting myself and forcing things to happen. It's a beautiful harmony between the trusting whatever is happening for me, or whatever is happening for me and is guiding me to something, and I'm the one also recalibrating. So I hold faith close to me, and this is just a topic that was really present for me, the topic of resilience, when all of this was unfolding. So I'm still in it, I'm still recalibrating in this process, setting up some new things, but yeah, that's also fun. Life always wants to take you on adventures, and that's what we signed up for when we came here on this earth.